Wonderful. And guess what time it is, guys? You guessed it. It is time to excel, where we inspire and we ignite the possibilities that are all around us. Business owning is tough, and there's so much to kind of get overwhelmed. And I am so blessed and honored to have my friend Katia Ravé here with us today, because she is just an amazing business owner. And we have connected through some programs and some networking, and it has just been an amazing relationship. And I'm just so grateful to have you as part of my life. And you're amazing at what you do, and you just share so much so freely. And that's why I am just so honored to have you to be able to share with this audience as well some of the things that, and some little nuggets that they can take with us, so that it doesn't have to be so crazy. It doesn't have to, because it is their time to excel just like us. And I always love part of your bio, like, you're a business coach, you're a speaker, you're an author. We both have written books. We were in the same program as we were going through. And it's just amazing, because you speak 3 languages. And I always love this one, because you do English and you do French and you do money. And money, you and I've connected on.
That's right.
So, and you get the big picture, and I do a lot of the system side, and it has just been a great partnership, because we can, offer different opportunities to the folks so that they can see those possibilities and they can ignite and inspire across the board. So thank you so much for joining us. And I know you're going to kind of share with us about running a successful business, because, sometimes it's hard to run a successful business.
Yes. Well, yes. First of all, thank you so much for having me. This is such a privilege. You know how much I adore you. And one of the thing then I wanna mention is, this is what the whole entrepreneur word is about. It's about coming together. It's about coming together and really contributing and helping each other and lifting each other up. And I really hope then that's what we're going to do today for our audience.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. Because, right now, I think it's really tough out there. It is like everybody's so overwhelmed, because not only are they trying to run a business, they're trying to figure out life. And we've got turned on our heads in the last year.
Yeah, well, not only that, is the energy is shifting too,
Yes.
right? Because last year we got comfortable into where we were last year, and then over the past 2 weeks, everything has shifted,
Again.
right? The energy is different. People are starting to go out, and they're like, "Oh, I haven't gone out in a while." Some people are like, "Yeah, the vaccine." Some people are, "No, the vaccine," and then people are fighting. There's this energy out there who's so different, but it affects into the business. And this is it. This is everything in your life affects your business.
Yeah, they mirror each other. And that's something I know that I brought up in the book, that, like when I was talking about that, your finances, especially, whatever you do in your personal life is going to mirror in your business, and vice versa. Right. And that's exactly what you're saying, is everything is affecting everything. And whether we like it or not, as the entrepreneur, we get to do it all.
That's right. And it is true. You said entrepreneurship, sometimes it's hard. I would say entrepreneurship is hard all the time.
Period.
Period.
Very good point.
Yeah, it's just how do we choose to show up? How do we choose to run it? How do we choose to take on the challenges as much as we take on the victories, right? And what are we doing about it? I think, that's one of the issues with entrepreneur. And you know that better than anybody, because you work on that money part so hard, right? How we see then, people avoid, right? When they go with their strength, and like, this is my strength. But if you don't own every part of your business, the weaknesses become really big, and it becomes, it drains you out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know there's some keys and some different things, and that's what you work with your clients with, is trying to help them you do a lot of speaking. How can you speak? Speak is one of the best ways.
Oh my gosh,
to be out there and get out there and start talking. And I will admit, when I first did Facebook, I will get up in front of a group of people and speak live and not think twice about it. Put me on the doggone camera with Facebook, I struggle. Because I'm like,
and look at you now.
Now it's just fun.
Right.
But it was really, really odd. And I'm not the only one that's gone through that. I'm like, people, fear of public speaking. I'm like, no, that's fine. I'll get up in front of that 50, 60 people. That's fine. But it was so strange just talking to myself, which is why I love having guests come on, because I love the energy that comes with it. And I think that's what a lot of it is it's a lot harder to read the energy and feel the energy, because you're through a screen.
Yeah. And I would add to that, then it was very hard. I think it's hard for everybody, right? Especially
Mhm.
when we are so used to that live audience, to look at the smile, to look at, are they yawning,
Yep.
or are they like, do I need to switch,
Yeah,
or,
the
and
phones.
yeah, and the engagement is different,
Sure.
because if they have their camera off, and but I think you've shown your audience what is it. You showed your audience, then you just said, I was so scared, it was not, and look at you now. It's practice. It's like everything,
Absolutely. And that's one of
you
the
know.
golden nuggets that you say, jot that down, guys. Practice is one of the keys.
Practice. So I can't remember. I want to say Will Smith has said it, and a couple of other people, but we hear a lot, practice make perfect. And I actually disagree with that. And yeah, I want to say it's Will Smith who said practicing. Oh no, it's one of the basketball players. So don't quote me. I don't remember which one. But it was like, if you practice wrong, it's never going to be perfect. And I think that's a huge, huge component. People think, oh, I'm going to practice, I'm going to practice. But if you don't have someone who's going to teach you how to practice the right way, how to practice perfect, no matter how much you're going to practice, you're going to do it wrong all the time.
That's true. And that's why I think the partnerships are so important and
Mm-hmm.
so crucial to an
Yes.
entrepreneur. You have got to partner. And even if you are a coach, you need to be partnering with coaches, because
Yes.
you cannot see it when you're in the weeds. And I think that's what I see with my clients so often. They're just so overwhelmed by the numbers. They're in the weeds. They just don't even know which direction to go. They're like, oh, I need to do the PPP. Well, do you have your financials? What's that? Okay, we got a problem.
Right.
We got
Right.
a problem. If this is not done from 2020, like we got some issues. I don't know whether you qualify or not, because we have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to work with. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that happens, but I can look at that and it makes total sense to me. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
when you're working with your clients, you're seeing it, because when we're in the weeds, sometimes
Oh
you
yeah.
can't see it because you are spinning so fast, you don't know which
Right.
direction to go.
And sometimes you're so far out, you don't for me, like, I had someone who came to me, and they've been in business for 5 years, and we looked, and no matter than the business was active for 5 years, it wasn't moving along, and
Ah,
it was stuck. As So sometimes it's not also the amount of time, right? Because after
mhm.
5 years, it was like they were at 3 or 4 months into the business. And so the time is not always the gauge. And I
No,
think we know that in sports, we know that in dance, we know that in, with instrument, with people who play music.
sure.
And for some reason in business, people don't look at it that way. And if you don't go back to your basics all the time, the world is changing, guys, and it changes fast. So you need to worry about what your avatar, what your ideal client want right now, not 2 weeks ago, because I can
Right,
assure
it's
you,
changed.
yes. So I'm going to tell you a very quick story. About a month and a half ago, I decided to do little coffee with Katia at 7 a.m. in the morning. Every morning,
Yep,
people get to, and I choose a different theme.
yep,
Well,
it's been
yes,
great. I encourage folks.
yes. Yesterday, I talked to one of my mastermind, which you were part of, right?
Mhm.
And I really got advice. I'm like, hey, I'm seeing something now. It's not drawing. And after a couple of minutes, it was like, okay, let's rename this little coffee with Katia, and let's see how can you reinvent yourself. So now it's reinvent yourself, little coffee time.
And it
And
was perfect.
and it's perfect because it's right now, what is happening right now. And people are scared. People have different energy. People are like, oh my gosh, I need to lose some weight. Oh my gosh, I really need to make money because we're going to go back to bars and restaurants.
Wait,
And
my pants
I,
don't fit.
and
That was one of the
get,
comments yesterday, like the pants don't fit.
yes,
And it's
that's what it
true.
was. It was. And yeah, so there is a different energy. So it's in the now. So what does your ideal client needs now? That way you can continue to make money and to be able to say, okay, where is it not working?
And continue to provide that support, just like we're
Correct.
doing. Because as you said, you was running, you've done successful, and it just needed that little tweak. It needed somebody
Correct.
looking from the outside in.
Correct. Correct.
And that's huge. And that's why partnering with folks, and I mean, working with
It
folks,
is.
it's important. It
And there
is
shouldn't
so
be any
crucial.
shame. Like I
No,
hear people who say, "Oh, I don't want to say that I work with a coach." Do you guys
right.
really think I come up with all these ideas on my own?
I don't want to do
No,
this by myself.
nobody does. The biggest people, they all have mastermind. They all have coaches.
Hmm.
This is why they get to that way, you know?
Exactly. You can pull them along because we're
Right.
we're we're tagging along, and we're all at different places, and we all have different strengths.
And I'm not, I mean, I don't want to have to do my books. I don't want to have to do money. I have someone, and this is it. It's like, we want someone like you who's going to tell us. Like, I don't want to figure it out. I don't have that kind of time.
No, you need to be focusing on what makes sense for you, where your
Correct.
strengths and your gifts
Correct.
have been, which
Correct.
it has been just such an amazing type thing. And your book is talking about, and I just love the title of your book. Do you want to share that for a couple minutes and tell a little bit about it?
Yes. Yes. So success is a dance, and how the rule of Argentine tango really will help you into your business. So I'm a tango dancer, and I used to teach it, and I was the judge at the International Tango Summit in Los Angeles. And I realized over the past 2 years that a lot of the rules who apply in dancing or in really any sports really apply in business. But for some reason, we're not willing to accept, like, being in sales. What does that mean? Look at how you and I show up today. We are in our home. We could have showed up in our pajamas like half of the world's out
That's
there.
true. That's true.
We choose not to. And I am fully dressed,
Yeah.
like from all the way to my feet, from
Okay.
here. Why? Because that's
Because
important to me. Because
yeah,
how I show up gives me a different energy.
it does.
And
Absolutely.
and this is something, then I wouldn't go to a dance event half dress,
No.
right? Just because they
No.
can't see me because I'm sitting all the time, or it wouldn't occur to me, or like, not to present on my full way. It changes my energy. If
It
I have
does.
high heels, I'm in a different energy than I'm in flat shoes. How do
Hmm.
I show up for my client?
And we
You
want to do
know,
the best that we can do. And
yes,
even like Mary Kay has
yes.
always taught us, at a bare minimum, you need to put your face on, because you are your best source and referral, because you need to be having a full face on. If you're walking out the door and you're a Mary Kay consultant, which that's my other part-time gig that has always been my fun job.
Wow,
But you
that's
know what?
cool.
And she trained me right from the beginning. And that I took into business as well, because I did that same thing. When I walked in, even if I didn't have a blazer on that day, I worked in a bank. So there was times I
Mm,
had to
yeah.
meet clients, but did I need it on while I was in my department? No, it was hot sometimes too. So I made sure I kept, the black blazer close by, because I never knew when I was going to need to, but I didn't want to have to drag it every day. So
Right.
even something as simple as that, but before I walked into, quote unquote, the other side of the building, where I'm
Yes.
dealing with, clients, or I'm dealing with, and most of mine were different, VPs and different things with the different departments to figure out. I wasn't going to go in there with not being like, I
Mm.
wanted to show up in my best so that I could give my best to
Yeah.
them.
So that's one of the thing. The other thing that I talk about is, who are you learning from? Right. So
Absolutely.
are you learning from YouTube? And it's a joke on the dance. We can see the dancers who are learning from YouTube. I am not saying you cannot learn from YouTube. So please do not bombard Janet, going like, Janet, who was your guest? I have learned. You can learn a lot of
Oh,
little
absolutely.
trick. You can learn a lot of little things. But if you want to learn truly business at its core, you don't do that with YouTube. And it's the same thing in dancing. Who are you learning from? And then how do you choose your teachers? How do you choose? Do you choose people who are not going to challenge you? Do you choose people because they're a little cheaper? Or, I mean, in the dance world, yes. People are like, oh yeah, I can get this teacher for, so much. Well, yeah.
Yes, you
But
can.
I can tell you, one of my teacher, back then, and it's a couple of years, $100 an hour I paid her, when the average is 45, 55,
Okay.
And I did pay that very happily. I dedicated, actually, in the book, she's really my mentor as a tango teacher, Alicia Pons. We were in the middle of a lesson, and she's like, Katia, your little toe on your right foot is changing how grounded you are into your dance.
Wow.
Okay. $100. Give me that. This is not something that someone could have seen from the outside.
No.
This is an impeccable teacher. This is a teacher who is like present fully for you, looking at all the details. And how can we tweak this that way her dance can even show up more? I can assure you, I don't know many teachers. She is a maestra, given she's one of the top, right? But this is the difference. Who do you hire? Who do you really get your learning from?
That's a great question.
Right?
And you need to research, because some coaches, I mean, they're going to challenge the living daylights out of you. Some are going to drive you crazy. Some are just going to tell you what you want to know.
Yeah. Or some of you are going to tell you, you know what, Janet, $29 and you're going to make 7-figure in 30 days.
Go for it.
And you're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I have nothing to lose. You have everything to lose.
You're going to say
your time and your $30.
Exactly.
And in 30 days, you're not at the same place where you were, because you have lost time and you have lost $30.
Mm-hmm.
And $30 in business, you and I know. Then at the end of the year, $30 here, $30 there, $30 there.
It adds up quickly.
That's right.
And that's been the crazy part, and I've worked with businesses who, they have great revenues and zero profit. And I've worked with folks that have had smaller revenues but have higher profits.
That's right. Talk about that.
That is just huge, because it's how you're managing that money, because you can bring all the revenue in the world, but if your expenses are higher, you're not going to sustain. And that's what I've been doing. Like in my book, that's what I was really focusing on, is we want to really focus on the profit. So 2021, I have the little blue pig on my book, money doesn't spend itself. So where'd it go? And his name is Hammy. We named him. We had fun with him, because he's going to help you turn your Hamiltons into Benjamins because of that exact problem.
That's right. And I love that. My gosh, I love that. I would add to that, that when you don't know your long-time goals, you don't know how it's going to hit you. Meaning how maybe you want a beach house. And if you are both entrepreneurs and you show nothing at the end of the year, that beach house, you can't really have it.
That's true.
It is so important to have someone like Janet. Why? Because at the end of the year, when there is taxes time, and you're like, oh, okay, it's great. Oh, okay, I'm deducting everything. Oh, okay, I'm showing like this is great. But you don't know the long-term impact.
No, and folks don't go goals. And that's where I've found so much. It's like what I work with folks, I don't want to just do bookkeeping. That's our foundation. That's our starting point. I want to be looking at those financial statements, because we got to start planning goals. We got to start, are you shooting for those goals? Yes, you can throw darts all day long, but if you're not tracking and you're not looking at them and you're not reading those reports, your dartboard could be behind you.
That's right. What's your vision?
You don't have a clue.
If you have no vision, you can't go there.
That's true.
You need a vision. And then you need a blueprint, a map. I mean, I'm about to drive 3 hours today. I'm going to the beach, and I could just say I'm going to go and drive 3 hours. Will I ever get to my destination? No. Will I meet my husband? I have a date tonight with my. I have a date tonight with my husband. If I do not put in the GPS where I'm going, I'm never going to get there. Trust me, with me.
I was going to say, odds are if you're like me, I'm going to go to Pennsylvania via Florida.
Oh, listen, I am the queen of this. Do you know, I went halfway through Asheville one day, stopped at the gas station, and I was like, well, I know, like it's 40. I just take 40.
Right,
I took 40 the wrong way.
I've done that.
I came back home. It took me like And now I have to figure it
Oh,
out. Oh my gosh.
so
So
very
yes,
good analogy with your business too. You just said it. You've got to have that blueprint map to get there.
yes. If I don't know where I'm going, I can't really have the map. And
Right.
then when you know when you're going, and then when you know where you're at, then you're like, okay, now what's my journey look like? By when do I want to achieve these goals? How am I going to get there? And this is what people like you and I do.
Exactly. And we help
We
them.
hold your hand.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just thinking about that, it's these people that I'm talking to, it's just amazing how you can really get thrown off kilter so quickly. And that's
Mm,
one of the services I love offering is just, sometimes it's just touching base with folks. I have one little just an accountability package. Let's touch base once a month, once a quarter. And I know you probably do something similar. You get them through and maybe they're ready to go a little bit on their own and they're ready to kind of implement some of that. And that's fine, but let's keep in touch. And
yes,
don't, because all of a sudden what I find at the beginning of the year, all of a sudden all last year went bye-byes and now we're trying to scramble for an entire year.
that's
And I will
right.
guarantee you don't want to wait to a whole year to try to figure out where you're going.
That's right. And you
And
don't wait until halfway
no,
to kind of see where
no,
you're at.
you've got to know where you're going because you got to constantly making tweaks. You just said it
Yeah,
2 weeks ago, the entire world was in a different place than where it's at 2 weeks ago.
that's right.
Our clients need different things
Yeah,
from what they needed yesterday, basically.
yeah. It's
But
constant
the
moving, constant moving.
foundation didn't change.
Yeah,
So if we can get those foundations in place, then we can help them to grow and help them to excel and
that's
to
right.
help them get the possibilities that are
That's right.
around us. And that's the hard part.
That's right. So that's what we talk about the book. And then we have a whole thing on budget. So tango people
Okay.
are, yeah, tango, I know you love talking about money. So
Absolutely.
tango people, we love festival, right? We love to travel because then we have our favorite dancers and from like all around the world, and
Oh,
people are
cool.
moving and meeting in places and dancing, in Santa Fe, or in Montreal,
That's
Montreal, you can
awesome.
say, or anywhere. And we all kind of know each other. It's a very small world when you get to know each other. And so you go
Okay.
to festival, you go to marathon, and just dancing marathon. And one of the things that I'm seeing in the tango world is very similar in money with our businesses. There's no budget. It means like when we go, we are all like, okay, I am not spending any money into clothing or into shoes
Okay.
or going out to eat. Like I'm focused, I'm focused, I'm focused. And I see people around not be able to do that. They're like, oh, I don't care. I'll put it on the credit card. Oh, I don't care.
Ah,
Like, let's go out to eat. Let's go out to eat. And when you eat with a bunch of people and it's social, and we eat, we drink wine, and you end
yeah, it
up
adds up.
3 meals. Well, two because we sleep in the morning. But
Yeah,
two,
you've been up all night.
2 meals, 2 meals a day, eating out. And then of course, you see, you see all these girls who have like the beautiful dresses and all of that.
Mhm.
So you're like, well, so I'm going to explore because there's some people who are there to sell their clothes. So you look and you're like, oh, it's only $40. So you just buy that. And then shoes, you're like, oh, I need another pair of shoes. We're crazy about our
There's
shoes.
only 12
And
out there, but I need one more.
right. Well, tango shoes are very expensive,
I'm
and
sure,
because we are
absolutely.
we are on them, very much. So there is like some brands that we like better, and then if we bought this new outfit, now we need a pair of shoes to go with it, right? And it's the same thing in business, Janet,
Yep, and they do it all the time. And
all the
their
time.
little squirrel moments, and the new shiny object, the new Apple, the new
That's right.
computer, the new software, the new
That's right.
the list goes on and on.
That's right.
And then the bill comes.
That's right. I still buy refurbish. I
Yeah.
still buy refurbish, and I still go to fix my computer. I have a place and they keep fixing it. And I have an iMac. It was 2010 and it still works.
As long as it works.
Listen, I keep taking, the last time I was like, hey, can you upgrade the, he's like, can't do anything anymore
I was
with
going to
this.
say, you might be slightly maxing that out. You
That's
might
what he
have to
told
put
me.
in your
He's like,
budget.
he's like, that's what he said. I was like, okay, I'll put it in my budget. And
Yep, I was going to say, that's an item that needs to go
right,
in for 2021.
right. So, but yeah, so this is everything I talk about in the book.
And it's a wonderful book. And I encourage folks to definitely, is there a good way for them to get it? Is that on Amazon?
Yeah, you know what? It should be on Amazon by the end of this week.
Awesome.
But we are, it's on my website. And if you go to Katia, Rave, or AVE.com, there's a tab that says book. Or I think you can put /book.
Yep, grab your book copy today. I'm going to drop that in the chat so that it is here, and there we go. I've been dropping in a couple of things as I try to keep that going, just to kind of keep things going. And I am so grateful to have you here. And it's just been, is there any other nuggets that you're thinking or anything else? We want to get them over to your website, check it out, because I know you have a fabulous website out there and different things that you offer.
No, well, yeah, no, I mean, speaking is the key. And I know whether we are speaking lives, whether we are speaking on stage, whether we are speaking in conference, at networking event, owning your message, having a concise message is everything. So if people want, I have, like, they can go to businesssisadance.com, and I kind of help them to see how do you put a title together. Because when you do a Facebook Live, when you do anything, you want title. When you do an email, you want title. So I kind of put that together. That way it helps people to, to kind of, how do we really put a title together? How do we do this? And so if you go to businesssisadance.com, no www before.
Okay, let me get this right. I'm typing as you're talking. So business, whoops, capital B. I can't type, but that's okay. Is a dance.com. And its titles are the key. And how you put it together, find out at businesssisadance.com. It is in the chat, guys. And by all means, take any opportunity you can to be around Katia, because she is just amazing.
Contact me. I'm on all social media. Talk to me.
Yes, you are. We will find you anywhere.
I put today on my Facebook. I was like, hey, let's just talk. Let's just catch up. I put my appointment book, not even just for business. So I talk to everybody. I love to know what's people's visions,
Absolutely. And it's just amazing. And it's just amazing, the partnerships and having that, because we want to surround ourselves. And I'm a firm believer. I want to surround folks with the folks that are moving forward. And I want to make sure that we move together. And that is so key, because we can't do this by ourselves. You cannot grow and scale a business and run a successful one.
Sure can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katia, for being here. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. I really appreciate your candor. I appreciate your collaboration. I appreciate what kind of example you are about how, as women, we need to be with each other. So thank you.
Absolutely. Take care. Check us out. You can always follow up on the replay. Definitely comment into there. It's also on YouTube as well. So we are over on YouTube under Excel with Me. You can check that out as there and go right to the replay there if you prefer YouTube. So take care, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.